Hello guys, thank you so much for joining again. We have another amazing episode, and this episode we are joined by the beautiful Sarah, and this is episode number 8 in our Getting Comfortably Uncomfortable podcast. So today is all about misconceptions, knowledge and education, and why it is so important both in a personal training journey, your health journey, your well-being journey, but right the way through to just life. The more you know, the more you can do. So, Sarah, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a little bit about yourself and then we'll get cracking.
Sure. Well, I'm Sarah. I am a customer service supervisor. I work for a global corporation who deal with the manufacturing of heating components. Heating and cooling components, based quite locally. I am a mother of 2. I've got 2 sons. My eldest is 10, my youngest is 4. And I live with my partner, Paul.
Nice. So, when we had our initial consultation and our initial messages,
Yes.
when you reached out and said, "Hi, tell me more."
Yeah.
Right. What was it that you thought personal training was?
So what prompted me to reach out was I actually followed one of your other pack members on Facebook.
Nice.
And I had seen the progress that she was making. She had been doing quite a lot of posts about the sessions that she was doing, about the nutrition plan that she was following. Up until that point, I had tried a few different things. They would give me a short-term result. Nothing really stuck.
Yep.
And I thought, right, okay, it's time, maybe give this a bash, something a bit different from what I've been doing until this point. Initially, based on what I had seen being posted, I was apprehensive.
Okay, why?
Because I felt like I was going to turn up to the sessions and everyone was going to be fitter.
Yep.
I was never going to be able to keep up.
Yep.
It was going to be a well-gelled group. And you were going to be an absolute drill sergeant. Yes.
Okay.
So that was obviously busted having signed up, but that was
glad.
the initial initial thought.
And in terms of your general knowledge of what someone signing up to a personal trainer would get, what did you think you were going to get on day one?
I thought it was going to be handheld. I was going to be fed all the details.
Okay.
I thought you were going to sit down and tell me what I was going to eat.
Yep.
You were going to tell me what my breakfast, lunch and dinner was going to be.
Okay.
Exactly what my exercise plan was going to be and how many times a week I had to do it. So I realised now, unreasonable and unrealistic in that expectation. But initially I thought, this girl's just going to do it for me. She's going to solve all my problems.
It's just, here's the plan, go and do it. End of story.
Correct.
That's it.
That will get you where you want to go.
Amazing. And what about what was your conception? What was your pretense around personal trainers?
Well, I thought you would all be hard ass. Okay. I thought you were, drill sergeant is what comes to mind.
Nothing else?
Exactly.
Okay,
I just think bootcamp. And that was what I thought I was signing up for initially.
So we're thinking those like army drill sergeant style boot camps, like go, 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 go.
Yep.
Can't believe you're not fucking doing that.
100% what I was expecting.
Okay.
Yep.
And then what did week 1 look like for you and Alpha?
Totally different. Totally different. First session that I turned up to, the full pack were fantastic.
They are. They're so
really
amazing. I love them.
So great. They were so welcoming. They, I think, could probably pick up on my nerves. It helps that you're partnered up with someone for the first time.
Yep.
Well, you're partnered up anyway, but you know that first
time
session,
it makes a difference when there's someone else there and they're like, they can see you're nervous and they're quite happy to be like, mate, I was nervous too.
Yes. Yeah. And that was exactly what I got from the girl that I was partnered up with. She was a few months ahead of me, but still relatively new. So I was comfortable enough to then say to her, oh, I can't keep up with this. Or can you show me how should I be doing this? And much as you're not looking to interrupt her workout, it's still good to be comfortable to ask your partner, can you remind me of that, especially your first day?
And that comfort level is massive to me. You know that. Like I am the one who probably over worries that you guys aren't comfortable. And I'm like, right, okay, talk to me, people. Talk to me. You have to talk to me. If you're not comfortable with it or you don't understand it or you don't know it, you have to talk to me.
Speak out.
Because it's one of those things where I do genuinely believe, like, me starting my journey, I thought I knew it all. I thought that there was nothing that anyone was going to throw at me that was going to be news to me. Like, I had no idea why I wasn't losing the weight because I was doing everything right. I wasn't doing fuck all right. But in my mind, because of exactly that view and that stance of what fitness and personal training and coaching and the gym looked like, in my mind, I was doing all that. But then you actually then come into something like this and you realise just how far away you actually are from something that is achievable long term and is going to get you those results. It's insane.
Yes, I had one of those eureka moments as well after my first Sweatfest class. I had been going to the gym, or I thought I was going to the gym. I had been playing at the gym.
Well, you were going to the gym though.
I was turning up.
You just weren't training.
Exactly.
You were going to the gym.
I was going to the gym. I wasn't lifting as heavy as what I should have been.
No.
I probably wasn't using the right techniques for doing things. I did quite a lot of aerobic and cardio classes. But I wasn't doing anything. There was no HIIT, there was no weight, there was nothing like that behind it. And I also didn't have the nutrition plan tailored either. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't on point. I thought it was at the time. But looking back now, I'm like, oh my God, you were so clueless. That's why it wasn't working.
So what did nutrition look like before Alpha?
It had been various things. I had tried all these faddy things. I had done Slimming World. I had done Herbalife. I had tried a Dukan diet. I had tried, intermittent fasting, calorie counting. I tried what I would say is just about everything that was going. I would get a short-term result and I would think, this is great. But it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't something, I couldn't adapt my lifestyle to it. It was always quick results and then I would have a proper meal and the weight would go back on.
I love how you say proper meal there. Now, we've had this conversation quite a few times. What's now a proper meal to you in comparison? Because that's changed dramatically in the 3 months, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
That moment that you were like, you want me to have how
many
much?
calories? What, Vanda? How many? And I remember struggling initially.
You were like, I don't understand why she wants me to eat all this. I don't get it.
And I'm saying to you as well, I can't get these calories over. Like, this is too much for me.
Now,
it's comfortable now. It's manageable. It's there's still days where I think, oh my goodness, I've still a couple of hundred to go. How am I going to manage these? But I always manage it, or I get close enough to be able to comfortably say, I've hit my target for the day.
And when was the last time that you hit the fuck it button and just went off piste and just done whatever the fuck you want?
I haven't since I started Alpha.
You don't need to.
Exactly. I don't feel there's
when you want a bit of chocolate, you can have a bit. When you want a
Exactly.
packet of crisps, you can have it.
You
just don't get to pretend that you didn't.
Exactly. Be honest about it. Put it in your little food diary. That's the thing. I mean, my boys had got me for Valentine's Day a little box of Ferrero Rocher. And I'd taken a couple of sweets out of that because, I mean, you need to let them see you have them.
Ferrero Rocher, man.
They're my favourite. So, of course, they're delighted because Mum's eating the sweets. I'm quite happy I'm getting a bit of chocolate, but I'm still within my calories.
Yes.
So it's all, it's all good. You don't feel deprived whatsoever.
And do you think it's really hard adjusting to that mentally? That actually that's a healthy diet rather than a shake in the morning, half a bag of salad and nothing else at lunchtime.
Counting your sins.
Having a sin at dinner time and having no carbohydrates on your plate whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, has that been a struggle mentally or physically, do you think, more so to get round that?
I probably struggled both initially. Because I was looking at the calories you were giving me initially and going, what have I signed up for here? Like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Nick. This many calories?
She doesn't know what she's talking about.
She's like, what have
I got what's happening here?
What have I got myself? I'm going to end up like a beached whale. This is going to have the opposite effect. So the first week or so, I had that kind of, oh my God, there was the nervousness around, is this actually going to put weight on me? You know, I had that
real anxiety behind eating.
Yeah, exactly. Because to me in the past, good nutrition and to lose weight and be on a diet meant I was hungry.
Oh, you had to be hungry?
Yeah, I had to be hungry because if I wasn't hungry, I wasn't going to lose weight.
Interesting.
if I was still having the foods that I enjoyed and I was having a bit of chocolate or I was having my bread or pasta, I wasn't going to lose weight.
Yeah, because they filled you up. So if they didn't leave you hungry, then you weren't going to lose weight.
Exactly.
Right,
So
okay.
breaking that mentality was difficult.
Yep.
But also just managing it initially, because I had said to you, I would go long periods at my work without actually eating.
A long, long time.
Yes. So I was never a breakfast person.
No.
So I would maybe have a shake in the morning, so I had something in my stomach,
Yeah.
something going on. But then I would sometimes maybe have a mid-morning or lunch snack. I wouldn't eat anything substantial.
No.
And that would be me through until
It
dinner.
didn't fill you up in any way.
Didn't fill me up.
You weren't satisfied by it.
No, and I would excuse it by saying, but I'm so busy. I'm so busy.
Yes.
I don't
Of
have
course
time.
you're so busy.
Yeah, I don't have time to eat. Come on, that's just...
I mean, food. Who needs food?
who needs it? So I would get to my dinner at night. I would have a daddy-sized plate. You know,
Of course, because you're now absolutely starving.
And then I would graze all night.
Yeah.
I was in and out the cupboard. I was in and out the fridge. It was snacky things. It was nothing with any kind of substance.
Yeah.
Um,
But actually double the calories.
yeah, but it was all right because I didn't eat all day.
Yeah.
So
And it's scary though. And it's that way. I know I had put a post out a couple of weeks ago, and I think like it was on the back of all of our check-in process, and a lot of the girls kind of feeling very the same. We've got a lot of girls that are on the opposite to yourself. They're on the reverse diet. So they are building calories up while growing muscle and maintaining weight. And that's a real mind fuck,
yep, there it is.
because it's that way of like, I've got myself to where I'm happy, and now she's telling me I don't get to stay on those calories. I have to eat more. And then when they get comfortable, I say, you have to eat more again. And then when they get comfortable again, I say, you have to eat more again. And they're like, oh, I'm going to get fat. I'm going to get fat. And you're like, well, you're not, because you're doing it the right way in the right process. But when I put out a post a while ago about how many people eat really, really poor nutrition, but actually they eat very little food, but eat huge amounts of calories.
Yes, and I think that's where I was probably at. That's kind of where I was at. And it was realising that that's not a healthy way to go, and then breaking that cycle.
Yeah.
Because my body had adjusted to it.
Yes.
So throughout the day, whenever I've got my nutrition plan now and I know what I'm aiming for, but now trying to take these calories in during the day when my body's saying to me, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
That was difficult initially.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks and
your hunger levels start to balance out,
Exactly,
and
and
suddenly you're actually,
bit
lunch is
hungry.
okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling peckish. It must be, round about
Well,
noon.
this is about 1 o'clock. Yeah,
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So it did balance, but it took some time initially, and it took some time to break the mindset and the routine
Yes,
that I had gotten
absolutely.
into.
And if you look back now, and obviously you mentioned an awful lot of different diets there that we ran through. Were you happy on any of them?
No, never.
But
Never
was
at
that-
any point.
But was that actually okay?
It was all right as long as I was
as
losing
if you
weight.
had accepted that you were on a
Yes.
diet, so you should kind of be a bit unhappy about it?
Yes, 100%. It was okay to be unhappy about it as long as the scale was going down.
Okay.
When that changed was the minute I would hit any kind of plateau.
Okay.
And then it was like, this isn't working. So, exactly. So I'm just going to
Dummies
have
out
a
the pram.
takeaway tonight, or I'm just going to, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I know that I've spoke about my Slimming World journey before. It kick-started me in a way. I think there's lots of positive things about it, but I also think that it creates a culture of food that really just leans into things being bad, sinful,
yes.
not allowed. And it's also the reason why I do feel like my relationship with food at that point in time got not particularly great. I was the person taking my pants and my bobble off and my tights off and my bra off, just
step
on
on
the
the
off
scale.
chance that I might stand on that scale and be lighter than I was the week before.
Right, okay.
Just doesn't
It's no good.
bring you any fulfillment at all.
I think also the public weigh-in is not helpful.
Horrific.
Yeah, I mean, you would go without your dinner until you had been for your weigh-in.
Yes.
And then come home at 8 o'clock at night and eat your dinner. And that's...
Or,
Not
and do
any
you know what?
good.
I can't even remember who it was. I cannot for the life of me remember who it was. And that's going to really annoy me. But I was literally talking about something along these lines the other day with someone, and they said that every week they would go to Slimming World, her and her pal, and what would happen is that they would have a chippy on the way home if they'd lost and denied themselves if they didn't.
Right, okay.
How fucking negative is that?
Yep, how miserable must
So
you feel
if
that
I've
day?
lost, I get to binge on horrible, unhealthy food, but also food that I should have been allowed through the week anyway in moderation.
Yep.
But I'm telling myself, I'm giving myself this as a present. I've done well. It's like a reward for dropping on the scale, but you don't get the reward if you don't drop on the scale. But then
That's your punishment then.
it's like a punishment, exactly. But I said to her, I was like that. But here's the thing that gets me about all of these kind of things. Within Alpha, I'm real. You know what I'm like with you guys. I'm like, right, okay, what's going on in the world right now? Are we super stressed out? Are you on your period? When was that? Have you slept well this week? When was your last really, really big fuck off meal? Like, did you have anything social this week? Because every single one of them affects your body weight. Not all of them affect your body fat.
Yep.
Very, very different thing.
Yes.
Very different
Again,
thing.
something I'm quickly learning.
Yeah. So your results and your changes.
Yes.
What were you expecting when you started versus what you feel like you've actually seen?
So initially I thought it would be like all the other things that I've done. I would start it. I would have this great weight loss and it's going to be wonderful. Week 1, it did. I jumped on the scales and I lost 4 pounds.
Yeah.
I was, result, this is really good. You know, I'm eating and I'm losing weight. And it slowly kind of
We've got to that nice, consistent now.
Yes, exactly. It moved to a more consistent pattern. Initially, I had thought that was what was going to continue. I'm going to lose 4 pounds every week and I am going to be at my target within 2 months and it'll be great.
And I'm like, nope.
It will be fantastic. And I remember the first time I messaged you like, I don't know what I've done here, but I've only lost £1 this week. And you're like, but you've lost and you've had all this going on in your world and like, how can you not see that as a positive thing?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until you put it into that level of context and I was like, but you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely spot on.
If I go and ask you to go and buy £1 of mince and I say to you, eat every single bite of that right now, nothing's allowed to stay on the plate, you're going to realise how much £1 is.
Yep.
Right? But it is exactly that. It's that point where everyone expects because... And there is a lot of social media element in there. There's a lot of marketing. Our TV still markets a lot of these diets. All of these big companies that want to promote their diet are obviously taking up our airwaves. They're taking up our telly space. They're taking up our social media space. £10 in a week. £4 every week. £3 every week.
How can it be
Your
healthy
body
on
doesn't
reflection?
work that way. Like, you can't lose that amount of body fat every single week unless you are within a very, very extremely obese category. Like, if you are up at the very top level of that, then yes, it is viable. But percentage of body weight, when you're losing body fat, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But to your point there, I think that most women expect that £1 loss is going to be demonised as not enough.
I certainly felt like that initially.
Okay.
And again, I put it down to a lot of it to do with the diets I had been on in the past and the quick result.
Yeah.
And not considering the fact, but you didn't maintain that, Sarah. Like that was over very quickly.
Didn't last.
Exactly. And we also live in a society where everything is expected now. Everything is fast paced. You can order something and get same day delivery or next day delivery. So we're used to everything at the click of a finger. Yep. So I think it's kind of instilled this unreasonable expectation in every element of life.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. I think too many people expect as well that they can do something for a period in time and they can stop doing it and keep the results and do whatever they want after that because they've got to X weight. So I've got to X weight, so that means I can go back to eating the Chinese 3 nights a week and I'll still stay at that weight. Why would you?
Yeah.
That was the habit that got you where you were in the first place. Because you got it quickly, it's very unlikely to stay because the habits behind it haven't then also been solidified into your normal everyday life.
And I think something I didn't consider as well was look at your progress pictures.
Yes.
Absolutely look at your progress pictures because the difference that £1 has made to the change in body shape. I mean, to me, if the scales were going down, I was winning. That, you know, that was the aim of the game.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started taking the pictures and looking at them that
And
I was
actually
like,
taking time to look at them. And it's easy to say, I don't like looking at them, so I just skiff by them.
no, look at your pictures.
And you're like, take a fucking second
Yep.
and actually look at them. Because honestly, you're so right. It's that way of like, we've got so much in our world, particularly as women, where we're told that what you weigh on that scale is so important still.
Yep.
And do you know, it actually does surprise me to an extent, because I actually think that there is some insanely positive marketing, insanely positive content out there that distills all these myths. And it scares me that young girls still go down those extremes.
Yep.
And it makes me really, really wonder what's happening in the rest of their world that doesn't allow them, that person, that one person, to come in and be like, stop acting like the asshole.
Yep.
You don't need to lose a fuck ton of weight. But you do need to be healthy. We want you here for a long time. We want you happy. We want you fit. We want you healthy. We want you to feel confident.
Yep.
But we don't need you to weigh an X number. That's irrelevant. You've never walked up to someone and asked them what they weigh.
Never.
Like, hi, you look like a really nice person, but just before I know if you're good or bad, can you tell me what you weigh? That's never happened in the world of anything. Maybe in like supermodel, modelling, Victoria's Secret world. That's a different world to Jane Pot. People of us just stoating about Airdrie, floating about. Nobody's stoating up to us in that sense. But honestly, it beggars belief to me that we don't have a bigger volume of people steering clear of that stuff now. Because I do think it is quite scary when the amount of information that's out there disproven is out there, that people will still gravitate to it.
And I think that's the thing though, because until you've done a plan like this, or until you've spoken to someone like yourself, you actually don't know what you can believe and what you shouldn't believe that's online.
Yeah.
The information's just all out there,
It's
and it's
everywhere.
Exactly. And it's a bit of a gamble. And when you've got someone maybe young and a bit easier influenced, it's just so easy to go down that path.
So what's the biggest misconceptions that you had coming into this when it comes to fitness or diet that you're now like, what the fuck?
That I can eat.
You're allowed to
actually eat.
You're just allowed to eat.
I'm allowed to have calories. Like, it's wild
calories.
to me. I can have chocolate and lose weight. It's wild. Or I can have whatever it might be. I can have pasta and lose weight. That was just for me never what I expected. It was always, if I'm hungry, then it's working.
Yeah.
You should eat less and move more.
Oh, I love the eat less, move more thing.
Yes. And now I'm like, no, you should eat wise and move more.
Correct.
Eat sensibly,
I
move more.
love that. Eat wise, move more.
Yes, yes. So to me, that was my kind of eureka. Oh, I can actually eat and this still works. And also I think walking into the gym for the first time, I was standoffish. I was not going to be able to do this. Like, while these guys were going to have been doing it ages, they were going to have these solid relationships that I would not be able to, kind of infiltrate and get involved with, because they're going to be so well gelled and I'm not fit. So why are they going to want to include me in these things? And that myth was totally busted, because they just did. And much as I'm not currently peak fitness, I can already see improvements, and I've only been doing it a few weeks.
Massively.
Yeah.
And you came along to our first event of yours on
Yes,
Sunday.
I did.
So how did you find that?
Loved it. Still a bit uncomfortable speaking out and getting involved with the wider group, but I loved the fact that we were all getting together outside of the gym environment. I loved the fact that the guys in the pack were talking about their personal experiences, a little bit about their life, even just down to putting names to the people that I see posting on the page.
Yes.
Because not all of them do the same classes as me, so you don't always get that chance.
Yep.
So when they would mention their name, or you would maybe call their name for one of the questions, it was like, right, okay, so I know who this is.
I
remember that post that she did. And so it was good that way.
And the session was all about self-awareness, self-management, and really about being able to be in a place where you were able to look internally and actually realise what that then meant for your external kind of behaviours, actions, thoughts, values, processes, beliefs, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Was there any of the questions that really stood out as like, oh, okay, that one means a lot to me?
Not so much that meant a lot to me, but I did discover that if I'm not investing in myself, my immediate thing is I'm going to invest in my family and friends. That's kind of
Love
whenever
that.
you were asking the questions,
Yep.
that's where my answers were
Yep.
directed
So everything's
to,
quite
helping them
personal
out.
and quite family orientated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, I did pick up that much about myself. And I did also notice that I'm still not overly confident with the outward spoken thing.
Yeah.
Some of the other girls were much more comfortable to participate than I was. But
Yes. Yeah. And I
down
think
to human
though,
nature.
that's a little bit of human nature. I think part of that as well is that I think, and the reason why I wanted to do this with yourself is I think you're a very thoughtful person on what you choose to act on.
Yeah.
But you like to know
Yes.
the nitty gritty detail of it all and be able to make a properly informed decision.
Yes.
And I think that part of that is probably your experience with diet and exercise and feeling like you've been burned by it a lot. So coming into this kind of environment, you were like, I'm not doing this unless I
Not
know
until I know what I'm doing.
what the plan is.
Yep.
And I think when we sat down that first day and I was like, right, well, the plan comes together because we work on the plan together. And you were like, I don't understand. And I was like, well, I'm not going to put a plan together for you for 5 sessions a week if you can't do 5. And you were like, but will that work? And I was like, everything's going to work if it fits in with your life. But I think from what I can garner from you in all areas of your life, that's something where you're now at that point of, I don't see that as where you were 5 years ago.
Totally right.
I see that as where you are now. But that's behaviours from experience.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
I always remember you making a statement about Sarah has peppered me with questions since she started with Alpha. And I thought that pretty much nails it. Like, I'm into everything. I like to fully understand it before I'm comfortable or confident running with anything. I just like to make sure, probably so I don't go and make an ass of myself, if I'm honest.
And I kind of love that. Here's a weird one, just off the cuff on that. What do you think's missing from Alpha? Putting you on the spot here.
Really?
If you were going to say, Vanda, we need this tomorrow that would take it from here to here, what kind of thing would it be, or what area would it be in? Would it be the exercise side of things? Would it be the nutritional side of things? Would it be the mindset side of things? The social side and the community side? What would it be that would take it up a level for you?
For me, probably the social side.
Okay.
But that's more about my comfort with then, the gym side of it. That'll make me that bit more comfortable.
I'm interested in that because actually that's a really interesting one because it's the place where I think you're most uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah, I would say you're probably right. I felt if I was more familiar with the team, then I would be a bit more confident to try things off the cuff. Like, I will always give them a try.
You do.
But it's usually because you're behind me going, right, Sarah, do it.
Come on, let's just do it.
Exactly. Go for it. Like, try the next weight up or give this a basher.
Yeah.
So it's usually with you behind me giving me that first push. I would never walk to the front and do it first.
I love that. I love that. Okay.
Yeah, but then I do know that there's some events planned.
There is a few.
So I'm hoping that will help me in that regard.
And that's the thing, right? I thought this was really funny. We had a very funny conversation, me and one of the other pack members the other day, when we were talking about the potential of moving into small group, which you're moving into in March as well. And it was, the conversation basically went along the lines of, well, I can't because I don't know anyone. I was like, how do you know them unless you turn up? And he, yeah, but, right, everyone's a stranger until you've met them. Yeah, but I come to classes and then I don't really converse with anyone. Right, so start.
So do it.
Okay. And I was like, but you had a conversation with X, Y, and Z members because they mentioned that in passing to me that they'd had a conversation. So I get that it might not be what you considered a big conversation, but these guys know you and you know these guys. You might not know all the ins and outs of them. You know, it might not feel like they're in your social circle yet, but they can't be unless you give them a chance. And they might be thinking the same about you. So give yourself the chance just to put yourself in that space. But
Exactly.
what I do love about the community that we've created is that I genuinely don't think a day goes by that somebody would be able to say that they didn't feel supported.
Totally agree. Absolutely agree. The Facebook group is amazing for that kind of thing. I remember the first time you said to me, okay, Sarah, so now you need to post something on it.
You were like,
what am I going to say? Like,
and I'm like, whatever you want to say.
What am I going to post? Nobody's going to react. They're all going to be like, who is this chick? But they were great. They were so good. Everybody jumped on with a wee comment or a wee reaction or, answered the question. Just so helpful. Yeah, really so helpful.
So we're now at a point, we have had really positive results for you.
Yes.
So talk us through your results and why they're actually important to you this time.
So a couple of reasons. First of all, my kids. I was finding that they would want me to go and play football, run about a park. My little one would get away from me and I could catch him, but it was just. You're like, ooh. Exactly. When he's up a little bit, a year or two, I'm not going to be able to catch him. Yeah. I'm not getting him. So it was important that I could do these things and I can play with them. And whenever I was realising how shoddy my fitness levels were, I was like, right, we need to do something about this here. This is not happening. And then there was the kind of self-confidence, the self-awareness, the just general feeling of self. Trying on clothes and being miserable, couldn't get into my clothes anymore and having to size up. I've got a big birthday coming up this year.
You do?
So I've got a bit of a goal for that, 21 again, of course.
Oh, we're all 21 again this year, babes.
Yes.
All of us.
So got a bit of a goal for that. I just want to feel comfortable in my own skin. I did come to you initially and say, this is the weight that I want to be. But that was my day one.
Yeah.
So we've changed that now.
Yeah.
There is a particular pair of jeans that I would like to feel comfortable in on that day. So that's what we're aiming for now.
Yeah. Because realistically, you mentioned it as well. When you look at your physical change in terms of size and shape, it has been much more dramatic than the pounds on the scales.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
So how do your clothes feel on you now versus then?
I'm still currently wearing my larger size.
But why?
Probably just because I'm not confident enough to put the other ones on yet.
They're a little baggy, guys. They're a little baggy.
A little baggy. I feel like I'm still reaching for the oversized t-shirt just now rather than maybe just putting on a plain simple t-shirt. Yep. Exactly. But that will come. That will come as I get more, closer to my goal and more comfortable with where I'm at.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's it. Like, I just see such a huge difference in you. Like, even down to your face shape, we're seeing the change. Like, but your posture, your mannerisms, like you say, like being able to walk in to a class in the morning and stand and just blather with everyone without holding fire and standing at the back of the room waiting on me saying, right, guys, just about to talk through the class today.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like hesitation back there anymore or...
No, because I need to see what you're doing. I need to see...
You're like right in there, like,
I need the instruction.
What do we do that? How do we do that?
What's that station?
Yeah,
so I need to know that now.
So we're down pounds on the scale, yes. Body shape's changed. We're smaller, tighter, more toned, leaner, all of that. Confidence is up. And we're actually eating like an adult.
Yes. That's another thing I remember you saying to me. You checked my food diary one day.
I remember that.
Right at the start. And you messaged me and you said to me, Sarah, you're not a fucking child. Those calories are not going to cut it for lunch. Up your game. I was like, okay.
I think, if I remember rightly, it was something along the lines of you had like 216 calories in for your lunch. And I was like, this lassie's going to be fucking starving, man.
Yep.
And all I was looking at it and I was thinking...
You told me to double up my chicken.
No, that's not what she ate. And then I was like, did you weigh that? And you were like, yep. And I was like, is that 100% what you had? And you were like, yep. And I was like, are you hungry? And you were like, yep. And I was like, you don't need to be. I promise you don't need to be hungry on this. I promise. But it was that way. I was like, double it. And you were just
that was exactly what you said. You were like, up it, double it. You need at least double that on your plate for lunch.
Double it. And you, it was that point, you came back a couple of days later and you were like, it kind of makes sense now.
Yep.
I get why. I didn't go home and think, wonder what's in the fridge for afters.
Yes.
I wasn't thinking, I'm putting the kids' dinner out, what are they going to leave? I wasn't thinking, oh, do you know what? I could have a cup of tea and a biscuit tonight and nobody would ever know.
Yep.
I was like, all right, okay, what calories have I got left and what am I going to use?
Exactly.
It was not that real, like, craving inside you, and I can't do it. I am a fat bastard with food.
I
need
seldom
volume.
now look for a snack after dinner. So generally, I'll eat my dinner. If I fancied one, I would have it.
Yep.
But I seldom look for one after dinner now because I've ate so well through the day.
And then the other really, really big thing that's changed for you is your confidence in the gym in terms of your actual movement, how you move, what you use.
Yes.
So you wear the Zumba and maybe a little bit of cardio kit.
Yeah.
And maybe we ventured to a little bit of the machine weights. Mm-hmm. But we kind of hung about there for a little bit of time and then we just went home kind of person.
Yep.
And the first time that you had messaged me saying, right, okay, I want to do even more. Let me do more. Let me do more. And we got in and we got under a barbell. And you were just like that. This is so cool.
Yep. Loved it. Absolutely loved that session. It was brilliant.
But do you now feel so ready to take on anything new I throw at you? Or do you feel like you are 2 steps ahead, 5 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead? Do we feel like we've got that confidence to run and jump in? Or do you feel that there's still that wee bit of hesitation?
I've still got a little hesitation.
Agree.
Still a little there. I will always give it a bash. But 100%. I will always wait for you to tell me that's what you're doing.
Yep.
And that's how you do it. And once I know what I have to do and what my motion should be, I'm more than happy to go for it.
Love that.
And
that
bloody ski machine was one of them.
Oh, yes. You were just like, I don't understand what you want me to do. And I was like, right, okay, just take a wee minute, right? Yep. But all of that is manifested into the amazing transition from online hybrids into small group in March when we go live at our new and improved home at the Lair. So that first trial session that we done when I was like, just get your arse in and give it a try.
Yep.
Thoughts afterwards?
I loved it. I was gutted. I had to leave kind of 5 minutes early because I was going to be working. So to make sure I could actually go home to the paid job, I had to leave a little bit early. But I loved it. The girls were brilliant. The movements, the stations that you had given us that day were perfect for me. It's really the kind of thing that I enjoy. So yes, I can't wait to get started properly.
Oh, I'm so buzzing, mate. I'm so buzzing. Because that's the thing, I think, with the group. And I know that Kirstein's done her episode right at the very beginning, so go back and watch it, guys. About her transition from one-to-one into group and why community is really, really important to her. Because actually what she really wants out of her fitness journey is a place that she can call her safe zone, her space. She can go to first thing in the morning and start her day in a way that makes her feel happy and healthy. And she still knows that she's going to achieve her goals whenever they are ready to achieve. She's got pushes and pulls, but she's now got a group every morning behind her. Yeah. That when she's exhausted, they're like, are you taking care of yourself? Are you okay? Or, yes, you're tired, but let's just get this shit done.
Yes.
But she's also got those people who she moves that bar and they're all like, yes, we're done.
Yep.
We're happy. And there is nothing better than that moment in a room with the small group sessions. And I cannot wait till you have your moment because I honestly think it's pivotal for every single person in small group PT where you hit a PB on something that you have literally told the whole room is not going to happen and then it works. And the roar and the celebration from everyone, there is no better feeling in the world, especially now that these people have made me put a 5:30 in the morning session on. That's dedication for you. I'm like, do you want earlier? And they were all like, yes. I'm like, earlier than 6? And they're like, yes. I'm like, okay, 5:30 it is. Okay. You're not getting earlier than 5:30.
Yeah. For now.
No, Sarah.
5:30 will do. That will be smashing.
5:30 will have to do. Right, so We have tackled loads of different stuff. So your first quarter in Alpha has just been phenomenal. Anyone who's worried about coming in and thinks that they are going to come into something and feel literally like the odd one out, why should they take that moment and just say, no matter whether it's Alpha or someone else, I need to just do this right now?
Yeah.
Why should they do it?
I can't speak for anyone else but Alpha, I'm afraid.
That's okay.
I would say if it's Alpha that you're considering, absolutely go for it. There is never at any point are you left alone. There is never at any point are you made to feel alone or siloed or isolated. Never. It's cliche and, you know, PTs and all these other organisations say it all the time, but it is a genuine community.
Aye.
And there is a genuine team spirit about it.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing, you know, there's nobody competing with each other.
Oh, God, no.
There's no one-upmanship or anything like that. It's just genuine happiness for anything that you're achieving, and, you know, you're definitely, everybody is welcome, everybody is included. Yeah. And there's no silly comments, there's no silly questions.
Oh, yes.
That was a big thing for me.
Okay, I love that.
That was a big thing for me, you know, peppering you with questions and stuff.
And I'm like, that there is nothing stupid. It's only stupid if you've asked me it 20 times and you want a different answer.
Exactly. But that was a big thing for me, because I was coming at it very much a novice. I still am very much a novice.
Yep.
But at the time, I was even more so. I had absolutely no clue. I was aware I didn't have a clue because nothing had worked for me. But anything I was asking you or the team, like, they were just there. They were supportive. They were answering. It was great. So I would say go for it. But again, I can only speak for Alpha.
I love that. And if someone is sitting there and they're like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready. It's not the right time. Is there a right time?
There's never a right time. Was there
a right time for you?
Probably about 5 years ago. But there was never, at the moment I messaged you, I still don't think was the right time. It was just that I made the decision of enough is enough. Nothing in my life had got to a point where it was like, right, this is it's like a pivotal moment here. There was nothing like that. It was just a case of, right, I need to do something here. I've had enough.
Yes.
And like I say, I had obviously seen progress that you were getting with some of the other pack members. And but yeah, there's no right time. If you want it and you want it enough, you'll do it now and you'll get it.
There you go, guys. The right time is now.
Yes.
And I absolutely agree with it. In my mind, there is, if you can genuinely say to someone, I feel like shite. Mm-hmm. I don't like how I look. I don't like how I feel. I don't like how I move. I don't like X, Y, Z.
Yep.
And then you say, but it's not the right time. You don't dislike it.
You will always find a reason not to.
You will find the excuse and you will take the excuse and you will say, oh, next time, next week, next month, oh, do you know what, when I get paid, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And you will always find the reason not to do it. But if you honestly feel those things, you feel like shit in your body, you don't want to wear the bikini on holiday, you won't go out for dinner with friends and family because you don't know what's in the dinner and you're terrified of eating in front of people. Yep. If you go into the gym all the time and you know full well you're paying a membership and you've seen no results and you're getting super annoyed, you're so sad, you're raging that you've not seen any results. If you're saying you're angry at that or upset at that or disappointed at that, don't say you're that disappointed if you're not willing to change the mold.
Stop doing the same thing.
Because what you've done hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And I will say it till I'm blue in the face, guys. If you've tried something and it genuinely hasn't worked for you, whether it be fucking shake diets, whether it be Slimming World, whether it be CrossFit, whether it be a weightlifting class, whether it be fucking a high rocks class, whether it be fucking body pump, I don't care what it is. But if you've gone to it and honestly, you've either disliked it, it's not worked, or you're back in the position you were before you started it, you need to relook at the plan because the plan doesn't work. Something about the plan's broken, whether it be the amount of time that you're trying to invest in it, whether it be how you're trying to invest in it, or whether it just be that it's the wrong fit for you.
Yes.
But if you're trying to shoehorn a plan in and it's not working for the 15th time, it's not going to work on time 16.
Yep.
Change the mold. Thank you so much. How was that?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
There we go, see? So, guys, that is Sarah's digested output of what the first 60 to 90 days in Alpha can look like.
Yep.
The kind of things that most of you will come in with some preconceived notion of, some experience of diet and exercise-wise, certainly some experience of in terms of how you feel in your bodies, all of that type of stuff. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, guys. So if you are in that space and you don't want to stay there any longer, fucking do something. I don't care what it is, but do something. And I am at the other end of a message for anyone at any given time, guys. I would rather you reach out and you're not the best fit and we pass you to the person that is, than you sit there feeling like shit. But Alpha is for everyone. We're about community at its heart, achieving the results that we want, creating those lifestyles, performing well, healthy bodies and healthy minds, and doing it with an attitude that basically just says, do you know what, fuck you, I am not going to feel like that anymore. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for watching. Any comments, anything at all that you want to know about the episode, if you want to interact with either me or Sarah, our handles will be below. But guys, thank you again for watching, and there will be more episodes coming up extremely soon from a slightly different location.